In the world of corporate misconduct, there are a lot of repeat offenders. Companies like DuPont and Monsanto and Exxon consistently find themselves on the wrong side of the law, and more importantly, often find themselves in the defendant's seat in courtrooms all over this country. Now, those cases tend to receive big headlines, big name coverage in the media, but some companies that are classified as repeat offenders do not get that same kind of attention. One of those companies is Stryker. Now, Stryker specializes in making hip implants for patients all over this country. Now, the company has been sued twice in the past for two different defective hip implants. Both of those were found to cause metal-on-metal grinding, which then led to a condition known as metallosis, which is basically cobalt poisoning, chromium poisoning, pain, discomfort, and erosion of the hip implant itself. Well, after that, which the company knew would happen according to their own documents, their own internal studies, they knew it was going to happen, sold the product anyway, led to massive lawsuits. Well, today, Stryker has found themselves with yet another problem. They fixed the problems that they had with those first two hip implants, but this new implant, which has actually been on the market for about 15, 16 years at least, is also experiencing similar problems. Where the metal joints connect in this hip implant, erosion is taking place, and in this specific instance, in addition to metallosis poisoning, patients are also finding that the device itself, the metal ball that replaces the hip joint, is experiencing spontaneous disassociation, which means it grinds the metal joint down so far that that ball slips out of place and causes tremendous pain, discomfort, and requires subsequent surgeries to fix. Now, this is new information. This is a new thing that's taking place. So the documents are not yet available to show whether or not the company knew that this would happen. But just like with other repeat corporate offenders, if we look at the history of this company, we know that in the past they knew their products were defective, yet sold them anyway. So it's very difficult to believe that in this instance, they didn't do the same thing. And I know the question a lot of people have when we're talking about medical devices or pharmaceuticals is, what about the regulators? Where's the FDA on this? Here's what's interesting about medical devices, and this applies to any kind of implant, including these metal-on-metal hips. If you prove to the FDA that your product is similar to a product that they have already approved, you get to skip most of that testing. You don't have to submit the documents. All you have to do is engage in monitoring after your device has been implanted in people. Basically, you get a green light if you just say that, hey, my product is a lot like this other one, so go ahead and approve it. That is how dysfunctional our regulatory agencies are, especially when dealing with these repeat offenders like Stryker. Obviously, the majority of people who end up with these hip implants, they skew older. And this company is taking advantage of the elderly population, the injured population, people who are already suffering. And rather than fixing the problem that they set out to fix, like a company usually would, they're making it so much worse, putting these people through extensive surgeries, repeat surgeries, in general pain from that hip ball joint becoming dislocated and migrating down into the leg. They're putting these people who have already suffered enough into even more pain. And the FDA, federal agency here regulating these things, says, yeah, but they proved that it was so similar to another device, we didn't have to look at their studies. They didn't even have to do the studies. That is exactly the problem with both the government and corporations today. They are so tightly knit that you no longer have anyone looking over the other one's shoulder to make sure they're doing things right. All they're doing is looking over the other one's shoulder to make sure that they get everything they want. The patients are the ones who continue to suffer because of this relationship.